Enthusiast, egunon eta ongi etorri. First and foremost, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you on behalf of all of us at Coach Syntax and also on behalf of the city of Eibar itself. It's truly an honor and a privilege to have you all here for this year's Plone conference. We've gathered from far wide to share knowledge, insights, and of course, to have some fun and build connections on the way. Some of you have been here for a few days already, attending the training sessions on Monday and Tuesday with us in the beautiful Marquescua Palace. Maybe you have time for some sightseeing, tasting the local food. We hope you've been enjoying your time so far. Before we dive into the conference's exciting agenda, let me provide you with some background. We find ourselves in the charming city of Eibar, nestled in the heart of the Basque Country. Eibar is not just known for its picturesque landscapes, but also for its rich history, innovation, industry, and warm hospitality. You've already had a taste of it if you've attended the training sessions. How did you like to have a palace as a venue? It's just one of the many examples of what Eibar has to offer. So, if sometime during your stay you find yourself savoring some pinchos or sipping on chacolí, know that you're in the right place. This conference has been a full year in the making, and we want to express our gratitude to all of you who have lent a helping hand along the way. You've been instrumental in making this event possible. I don't name names because I've only been allowed 5 minutes for this introduction. Now, let's give a warm welcome to the representatives of some of the institutions which have sponsored these events, who are here with us today. First up, Jon Iraola, the Mayor of Eibar. Thank you, Mayor Iraola, for your support.
Egunon guztioi, muy buenos días a todos y a todas. Good morning. Agintari agurgarriak Azara Domínguez, mugikotasuneko, turismoko eta lurralde antolaketarako foru diputatua alde batetik eta Leire Madariaga Eusko Jaurlaritzako eraldaketa digitaleko eta ekintzailetzarako zuzendaria bestaldetik. Eskerrik asko gaur gurekin hemen egoteagatik. Antolatzaileak Eneko Astigarraga, Luri Bargutxi, Mikel Arreategui eta Joaira Garzia, eskerrik asko bene-benetan egin duzuen lan guztiarengatik. Izan ere, ekitaldi honen atzean lan ordu asko daude eta egindako lan horregatik lortu dugu kongresu hau hemen gaur koliseon Eibarren ospatzia. Eta kongresuan parte hartzera edo entzutera zatoztenei, bai hemen zuzenean ezin duzu imaginatu, Plone Conference 2023 hau inauguratzeagatik sentitzen dudan ohorea Eibarko alkatea naizen aldetik. Izan zaitezte danok ongi etorriak Eibarrera, non langileen lana baloratu ez ezik, ospatu ere egiten den hirira. It is a great honor to welcome you to Eibar, a city which has always shown throughout its history the ability to adapt and thrive thanks to innovation and technology. Today we gather here to inaugurate a congress that celebrates precisely that, the transformative power of technology and the significance of innovation in our lives and in our future. Eibar, a city with a rich industrial heritage, understands the meaning of evolution and embracing change. From its days as the cradle of the arm industry to the present, where technology has become an essential part of our daily lives, Eibar has repeatedly demonstrated its adaptability and determination to progress. In this Congress, we bring together bright minds to explore the crucial role that innovation plays in our lives and in our society at large. Technology is not merely a tool, it is a catalyst for transformation and development. Innovation and technology have not only changed how we live and work, but also have connected people worldwide. They have broken down borders and allowed ideas to flow freely. Here in Eibar, we are committed to being at the forefront of this movement. Our city has welcomed technology companies and startups that contribute to boosting the local economy and creating employment opportunities. We have witnessed how artificial intelligence, Industry 4.0, and other emerging technologies are transforming and improving the way we produce and work. Yet, technology is not solely an economic matter. It is also a fundamental factor in improving our citizens' quality of life. From healthcare to education, from sustainable mobility to resource management, technology is shaping a more promising future for all. This Congress reflects our ongoing commitment to excellence in technology and innovation. In EIBAR, we are ready to embrace the future and embrace technology as an ally on our path to prosperity and progress. I thank each and every one of you for your participation in this Congress, and I wish you all interesting discussions and enriching experiences here in our city. Welcome to EIBAR, where technology and innovation open the door to an exciting future full of significant possibilities. I hope you enjoy this Congress, as well as your stay here in EIBAR, the days you will stay here in EIBAR. So thank you so much for being here. Eskerrik asko, muchísimas gracias a todos y a todas.
Thank you, Mayor Iraola. The Basque government has been a keen supporter as well. Please welcome Leire Madariaga, Director of Digital Transformation and Entrepreneurship. Thank you for being here.
Agintariak, lagunak, egunon guztioi. Just a few words in English for the welcome. Placer handia da niretzat zuekin egotea, Plonkov 2023 hasieran. Lehenengo eta behin, eskerrak eman nahi dizkiot kode sintaxeri zuekin gaur hemen egoteko aukera emateagatik. It gives me great pleasure to have the opportunity of speaking today at the opening of PloneConf 2023, the global annual meeting of Plone technology developers. Thanks to Code Syntax, after being hosted by New Orleans, Brasilia, Naples, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., Tokyo, and Berlin, in 2023, this international conference will take place in the Basque Country, and more specifically in EIBAR. The open source software and open technology sector in the Basque Country contributes to local economic development by providing sustained growth and has become a hub for creating value and jobs. Currently, 80% of the more than 2,000 technology-related businesses in the Basque Country use open source software. On the whole, they account for around 25,000 jobs. With regards to the public sector, the Basque government was the first public administration in Spain, and indeed in Europe, to regulate the contracting of public software via its 2012 software reuse decree. Today is a good occasion to highlight the advantages of open source software, which provides management solutions at affordable prices with the same level of functionality as proprietary brands, and at the same time ensures independence vis-à-vis manufacturers and suppliers. This is why the sector is growing strongly. It is also possible to run, copy, distribute, study, and modify this software, thus improving costs and providing freedom, independence, and connectivity with third parties. In short, if open source did not exist, digital transformation would be much slower, would take a very different form, or would not even exist at all. Because technology is moving forward at a much faster rate than businesses and individuals can assimilate. That is a fact. To tackle their digital evolution, firms need to cast their eyes back to earlier industrial revolutions, which entailed radical changes for society in general and for businesses in particular. The first industrial revolution in the 18th century was characterized by the introduction of steam engines into production systems. The second industrial revolution in the late 19th century was brought about by the advent of assembly lines. EIBAR is an example of these great revolutions. In the third industrial revolution in the late 20th century, computers appeared, and it became possible to program machinery, which led to the advent of automation. The fabric of industry was affected by all these phenomena and had to adapt in order to remain competitive. Businesses began to digitalize in the 1960s with the appearance of the IBM S360, the first large corporate-level computer. This was a pioneering technology for business which, among other things, made it easier to process information from different departments. The first processes to be digitalized using this technology were invoicing, sales analysis, stock control, and payroll management. Thanks to these computers, the first enterprise resource planning, ERP, systems adapted for business use appeared in the 60s. Another major landmark of digitalization took place in the 1970s with the advent of email, which revolutionized communications. Later, in the 1990s, the appearance of internet facilitated communications, trade, and learning and information sharing on global scale. More recently, smartphones have come to have a considerable impact in financial and social terms. Most businesses now have some kind of software to help them manage their affairs more efficiently. Office automation programs such as spreadsheets and word processors still exist, of course, but business management apps such as ERP systems, CRM, and other e-commerce tools have become essential at practically all firms. New technologies associated with Industry 4.0, such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, robots, augmented reality, and big data, among others, are making their presence felt in terms of taking advantage of the so-called fourth industrial revolution and the new digital environment. In short, digitalization and the smart use of ICTs are determinant factors for successful innovation, competitiveness, and growth at businesses, and they offer numerous opportunities to strengthen market positions. Indeed, with large companies already making good use of the advantages offered by digital innovations, small and medium enterprises need to follow if they do not want to be left behind or excluded from markets and supply chains. That is why the Basque government, which I represent here today, believes that many factors which are currently being called into questions, AI, quantum engineering, and transitions themselves, require a strong, pragmatic, competitive response in the Basque country. And that is why events such as this one are so important. Once again, eskerrik asko to Code Syntax. I trust that this meeting will serve to share knowledge held by the businesses and individuals gathered here, so that we can demonstrate the potential offered by new technologies and our potential response to the challenges present in the Basque country and Europe as digital transformation gathers pace. Thank you for your attention, and I hope the conference will be of use to you. Eskerrik asko eta lan aberasgarria opa dizuet guztioi.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Last but certainly not least, on behalf of the Council of Gipuzkoa, we have Leire Madariaga. We have Zahara Urtizberea, sorry, Provincial Deputy of Mobility, Tourism and Territorial Planning. Thank you for being here.
Egunon, buenos días, good morning, alkatea, zuzendaria. Azteko, azpimarratu nahi dut, arrogoteko modukoa dela Plone Conference edizio hau Gipuzkoan eta zehazkiagoa Eibarren egitea. Gracias por hacernos partícipes de una iniciativa que nos hace especial ilusión como Diputación Foral de Guipúzcoa. E insisto en este punto porque cuando lanzamos desde la Dirección de Turismo un decreto destinado al apoyo de actividades de turismo MAIS, eran precisamente este tipo de eventos los que teníamos en mente. Acoger actividades tales como esta edición de Plone Conference supone atraer a nuestro territorio personas de localidades tanto cercanas como citas más allá de nuestras fronteras. El hecho de que tenga una duración suficiente para posibilitar conocer mejor nuestro territorio suma mucho valor. Además, que en este caso estemos en una ubicación de gran dimensión histórica como es Eibar. Por todo ello, quiero felicitar a la organización por decidirse a aceptar un reto tan ambicioso y mostrar al mismo tiempo mi agradecimiento a todas las personas y entidades que también están comprometidas con el desarrollo de estas acciones. Desde nuestro punto de vista son claves para que Guipúzcoa siga creciendo como un atractivo de destino de negocios. Hoy, como decía la directora, esta localidad se une a Tokio, Barcelona, Bristol, Boston, Brasilia o San Francisco, por citar únicamente algunas ciudades que han acogido anteriormente este encuentro, que es uno de los eventos referenciales a nivel mundial de sistemas de gestión de contenidos de software libre en Internet. En Guipúzcoa ofrecemos mucho porque tenemos mucho que ofrecer y trabajamos duro para que día a día seamos un territorio abierto a la transformación, a las nuevas iniciativas y a las nuevas tecnologías que nos ayuden a crecer en todos los ámbitos. El sector turístico no es una excepción. La industria turística guipuzcoana se ha recuperado, al igual que ha sucedido en otros muchos destinos del planeta, de los efectos devastadores de la pandemia. Nos caímos, nos hemos levantado y ahora es el momento de seguir avanzando. No se puede progresar de espaldas a las nuevas propuestas tecnológicas. Hitzaldi honen hasieran esan dudan bezala, kongresu hau bereiziki interesgarria da Gipuzkoako sektore turistikoaren ikuspegitik. Gipuzkoan zuen presentziak ikusgarritasuna ematen digu maiz turismo helmugu gisa. Eta aldi berean, ziur gaude esperientzia osoa atsegina izango dela eta errepikatu egingo duzuela agian hasialdiarekin lotutako egoeretan. Edo beste dozein zeren hitzaldieran hasieran esan dudan bezala, Gipuzkoak asko baitauka eskaintzeko. Mila esker, eskerrik asko, muchas gracias y que disfrutéis de vuestra estancia entre nosotros y nosotras.
Thank you, Azara. Your support is greatly appreciated. Okay, with the formalities behind us, let's get practical. This conference will work like most others. We are now embarking on 3 days of conferences here at the Coliseo. We'll have 2 tracks on Wednesday and Thursday, and 3 tracks on Friday. The 3rd track on Friday morning will consist on short talks from some of our local clients, who are all Plone users. In the afternoon, we will resume to the general talks. Friday morning track will mostly be in Basque, with a sprinkle of Spanish, but you are all very welcome to attend if you wish. And of course, we haven't forgotten the Thursday evening party. It's a Plone tradition, after all. More details will follow in the following days, and you can always consult the schedule on the Plone website and on Discord. Now, let's kick off the conference with our highly anticipated first keynote. Our keynoters are a group of 5 individuals who are incredibly well known in our Plone community. No, they're not a boy band, although for us Plone people, they kind of could be. The keynote is undoubtedly the conference's greatest hit. Please join me in welcoming Erico Andrei, Maurice Van Ries, Victor Fernandez de Alba, Timo Stollenberg, and Eric Steele, along with their keynote, The State of Plone.
Format. We're still preparing stuff, and Timo came running last minute. He was the one with the computer, so we are kind of adjusting here. First of all, I would like to welcome you all to another Plone conference. It's blinding here, so it's better because I do not see many familiar faces that really scare the shit out of me every time. But welcome to ABAR. Welcome to Plone Conference 2023. I would like first to ask you all to give an applause and thank Code Syntax for having us here, for everything they have done this year. I can honestly say from all the years I've been in the board, this was the easiest conference that we had, to the point that we were not concerned, there was no worries, and you did an awesome job. I'm so sad for the organizers for next year. They're going to have a really hard time to compare to that. So please, everyone in the organization, stand so we can properly thank you and move front. Oh, that's good. And also, I would like to thank all the local authorities. It's an honor to be in the best country. A while ago, there was this thing called Twitter. We know it's dead now, there's something else there. But there was this thread basically saying, oh, what's the farthest north and farthest south, east and west you have been? I posted mine, and then a former Plonista, Matt Hamilton, said, wait a minute, those are all Plone conference event locations. That's a fact. I've been to many countries in the world, and more than half of it was due to this community, and I'm happy to be here. Because I don't know about most of you, but coming from a far, far away land in Brazil, I need a really good excuse to go to other places. It's really an honor. And I would love to know at least some words in Basque, but as my colleague Lucas Aquino from Brazil and Margarida from Portugal can attest, even in Portuguese I'm bad. If you think my English is bad, my Portuguese is worse. Thank you all for having us here, and thank you all for the nice introduction. Please. And before we start the state of Plone, it's imperative to address the elephant in the room. And some of you saw the whole heated arguments, like a certain German and me and a Belgian. I couldn't say Belgian now. Okay. We had a dinner last night about what is Plone and so on, because we have a naming problem. Naming things is hard, and we have an awesome name. Plone is really good. And Plone, everyone knows the CMS. CMS, it's robust, it's secure, it's being used all over the world. It helped to maintain democracy in my country. So I'm grateful for that. You have no idea how important Plone was last year. And this product is developed by a community. And this community has a legal entity to support it. In my humble opinion, Plone is the community. Plone should be the name of the community. We should name the CMS something else. We should have a new name for the foundation, because the most important part in here is the community. And that's the reason we keep coming back. That's the reason we bring new people on board. It's not because of lines of code. Let's be honest, writing code is easy. Welcoming new people to an open source community is hard. It's a real challenge. After saying that, I would like to pass the baton to Eric Steele, our community manager. That's going to talk about how was the community in 2023.
Thank you. So first, I'd like to say it's fantastic to be here. It's always a really great pleasure to come to a new city and just have an opportunity for the larger Plone community to interact with the local Plone community and just kind of get introduced to each other. We don't always get that chance, and so it's just fantastic. I'm looking forward to getting to meet all of you. So please come say hi. Throughout the decades of the Plone project, and let's take a moment to appreciate the fact that we can talk about this software project in the span of decades. The community has been consistently considered to be Plone's biggest strength, and it is a strength. The project has weathered some of the biggest challenges the software community can face, and come through each one stronger than ever. And if you just look at the last, say, 5 years, we've completely rewritten the back end to support a new version of Python. We've gone through a bit of a fork in the front end, and we've done so in a way that other communities would have failed under, and have failed under. We've faced problems that other communities have failed under, and we've done it in a way that we've managed to come through it with flying colors, because we've each time taken the community as our focal point in every decision we make. So to help that process moving forward, we've created the steering circle. This is something we've done in the past as sort of a, on an ad hoc basis, but we're really kind of codifying it now. So this is the collection of our team leads, our project leads, our representatives from the community and these open Guillotina projects. So typically, when we talk about like managing an open source project, the kind of most common metaphor is the idea of cat herding. And I've always hated that one. It kind of says that like each of you is some chaotic being that we have to sort of rope and you know, run around and keep you all in line. And we all have goals. We all have what we want to do. They may not all align, but you know, we're all people. The metaphor I've always preferred is kind of more of a ship with 1,000 rudders. You know, we each have a place we want to go. If we can get enough of us wanting to go to the same place, we can steer the ship in the right direction. And so that's really what the steering committee is trying to do, is to get us all pointed in the right way. Kind of synchronizing our teams, guiding where we're headed, planning how to get there, and convincing the community on how we should do that. Yeah, so it may be an obvious statement, but Plone runs on contributions from its community. Typically, we run mainly online, but we've done all our meetings during sprints, and this is where our synchronization happens. Our ideas, our planning, sharing of knowledge and culture. We've had 5 of those this year. We've had the Alpine City Sprint in Innsbruck in February, the Beethoven Sprint in Bonn in May, the Midsummer Sprint in Jyväskylä in June, the Serrata Sprint in Brasilia in June, and the Earlsop Sprint in Halle in September. We also had a very successful year with the Google Summer of Code. There was a huge amount of interest this year. We had 5 students with completed projects. Big thank you to Eric Berholt for organizing that. Do we have any of the, yeah, Eric, stand up. Yeah. Yeah. Do we also have any of our students in attendance? Yes, hi. She'll be giving a talk on Friday, and I believe also Dash will be giving one as well on Friday. So please support them, go hear their talks. It's a fantastic way to get developers involved in the community. Timo got his start there. I distinctly remember one of my first sprints as a release manager, having him there as working on our commenting infrastructure, and look at him now showing up late to keynotes. So. Yeah, so the contributions just aren't just about code. The community is also creating lots of video content. We have Fred and Philip with the Plone Newsroom, Kim Nguyen with the Plone Podcast, and the Brazilian community has Plone Hands-On, which is technical content, and Plone North to South with success cases. But nothing compares to World Plone Day. World Plone Day 2023 was a success. It had 15 countries, 57 talks. We had more than 20 hours of new content on Plone's YouTube channel, and also had in-person events like World Plone Day Brasilia, which had Luciano Ramallo and Alex Limi. Contributions can also include things like documentation, training, marketing, infrastructure, helping out on discourse and Discord, being involved in your local communities, serving on the board. And so we're really trying to, as part of the steering committee, we're trying to really promote those other activities. It's really easy, well, it's fairly easy to get people to get involved in the code base. We can have the sprints, we can have Google Summer of Code, and get people to get involved. But we're trying to get people to really pitch in on the parts around those as well, and help out to keep Plone running. And so we're starting up the Plone tune-up days again. So this will be the third Friday of every month. So previously these were solely developer focused. We're looking to get everybody involved now. So previously the metaphor was I don't know if it translates well, but the idea of the tune-up is a mechanic digging around in an engine, getting a car working correctly, getting everything humming just right. And I kind of like the idea of tuning a guitar now, where we're getting all of the separate parts in alignment, working together in harmony to sound beautiful together. Yeah, so we'll be announcing more of those in the future. Like I said, the third Friday of each month, so please come help us out. So yeah, all of these efforts are made possible thanks to the Plone Foundation. So, Erica.
Yep. Thank you, Eric. So, the Plone Foundation is a legal entity. It exists to promote and protect Plone. It's been doing that since 2004, and someone can correct me if I get some dates wrong, because age, you know, it's been a long, long time. Promoting and protecting Plone, it's not only about software. It's one of the things I learned during my time as a foundation member is that we help the community. We give the tools to the community, right? One of the most important things I saw coming from the foundation to the community and as a way to be enforced was the code of conduct. It seems like, oh, it's not needed. When you're a white male, happy, living in Europe, having something to eat every day. But that was my preconception or my prejudice until yesterday someone told me during their first Plone conference, they went to the sprint, someone in here, someone that's really, really important to this community, they went there and someone, like some of the rock stars of the community, basically said to this person, you don't need to sign the contributor agreement. We are not seeing you anymore. Like a joke, but it landed badly, and the person was really pissed and considered like, okay, I should leave this community, right? Even these kind of jokes could hurt people, especially if you're online, and this is something one of the greatest achievements of this community is the fact that we are welcoming, even though it's not easy, right? It's not easy to deal with diversity. It's not easy to deal with someone that do not speak proper English. I know that, I've been there. I remember trying to communicate on the online forums with my terrible English 15 years ago, and having Martin Aspelli writing like replies, and I was still trying to process the first answer. There was another one, and another one, and another one, and it was intimidating. Most of you that are not English speakers, you know what I mean, right? This is the kind of stuff the foundation needs to do. Protect the community, help new community members, foster diversity, and so on. The foundation really exists to support the community in any way. The most obvious way is to help people, help organizers everywhere, sponsor events that promote Plone. This is basically, we spend money to make sure Plone is still alive. One thing we learned with the ZOP Foundation going down is money in the bank is useless, right? Oh, we are going to save money. Really, we have $40,000 in a check somewhere in the US from the ZOP Foundation. That's basically useless. The ZOP community is gone, and oh, but they saved the money. Good, austerity paid off, right? In here, we are trying to sponsor and make things happen. For years now, we have a spend for the release managers to travel to places. I do remember Eric still going to South Africa, coming to Brazil a long time ago. These are the kind of initiatives that change a community for the best. Because again, being from South America, being from a country where there are no train connections, where if I want to meet the Brazilian Plone community, it's a 1.5 hour flight. That's the best case scenario. If the community wants to meet, there are people flying 5 hours to get to the central place. It's hard. When you have someone like Eric Steele or Maurits or Victor or Timo or any of you appearing outside Europe, it's like big deal for us. So we use that money to organize sprints. We sponsor some sprints this year, like Alpine City Sprint, Beethoven Sprint, Cerrado Sprint. We sponsor small events like the Plone Symposium, South America. That's, again, we're trying to have a symposium in South America, but the Plone community there, it's way too far apart. It's expensive to travel from place 1 to place 2. So we are trying to, but to do that, we need money. Yes, of course I'm going to beg for your money. So the first thing in here is, whose face is on that place there? Please raise your hand. Okay, Paul, what the hell? Paul is the one that spends most every month, and he works for a non-profit. He's not rich, like some of you, and he's there. And also, Lucas, are you here? Let me see. Or maybe someone got him drunk last night. That's something most of you are not aware, but Lucas Aquino, the other Brazilian guy that came from Brazil, he's sponsoring the Plone Foundation since 2012 or 13, and paying in dollars, and that's a big deal for us. And he's been doing that for quite a long time. So if you benefit from Plone, the software, if you are, oh, I'm not a company, I am just a developer, please put some money on GitHub sponsor. That changes a lot. I don't know if you noticed, but the whole GitHub sponsor is kind of a meme. When you have more people come. If you don't have anyone, no one wants to be the first, right? Please consider investing like $5 a month. Is not much. It's not much even for Brazilian standards, but it makes a difference. The second thing is sponsoring as a company. There are not that many logos in here, right? We're going to change that for next year, because one thing I heard talking to people, one thing Kim Nguyen, that was taking care of that, heard is basically, oh, yeah, should I sponsor the Plone Foundation or should I sponsor the conference? That's a valid question, right? We want the conference to happen, but we also want the foundation to have funds to help, for instance, the conference to happen. So from November on, we are going to start a revamp of the sponsorship in a way that people, companies that sponsor the foundation are going to have a benefit to also sponsor the next conference. Because in the end, we are targeting the same audience, we are looking for the same goal. It's going to make organizing a conference a bit difficult, but again, if the foundation has funds, at least we can help things happen. And I would like to thank any company that's there. I would like to thank all the companies that have been supporting us for all this journey. And we are going to reach each one of you again very soon so we can revamp. One of the things we hear the most about Plone is like, why, actually we heard that, why that company logo is so small in there? Yeah, but we've been moving people around and so on and so forth. We need to find ways of recognizing not only the money investment you do in the community, but the time you invest, the fact that you send people across the globe for conferences and so on and so forth. So if you have an idea, also talk to me, talk to Kin Nguyen. And again, thank you, Kin. Raise your hand, please. For taking care of that. This is important for the foundation. It does not seem so when you just receive the funds, but when you see the balance every month, and as Kin said the other day, we spend lots of money on servers these days because, yeah, Plone now runs with Voto, and we have all these sites, and we have country sites and so on. We need help to make this keep going. So please consider sponsoring with your company the foundation. But also the foundation is formed by the community. This year we welcome 8 new foundation members. Is any of you here? I believe Carol is here. So please stand up. Oh, yeah, come on. So I would like to welcome André Climaco, Mauro D'Amico, Carol, Brian Davis, Martin. This is kind of depressing looking Martin here, and I know him since forever in the community. It's kind of, what? João Gouveia, Jan, and Talia. And who in here is not a foundation member now? Raise your hands. Let me see. Really, you? No, that's wrong. So the first thing is, we heard that last year. What? Did you raise your hand? No, okay, oh my God. So we heard that last year. It's like, I commit code to Plone, I signed the contributor agreement. No, there are different things. Being part of the foundation is not about being the best code developer, it's about helping the community. If you've been around, you gave trainings, you gave talks, you wrote, you answered questions on community.plone.org, you are eligible to be part of the foundation. And by the way, the foundation members are the ones that make big decisions about the future of the Plone Foundation, including picking the people that are going to run the Plone Foundation for the next 2 years. One important thing is, do I need, for instance, to be a foundation member to be on the board? No. Martin, again, he is now a foundation member. He spent the last year on the board with us without being a foundation member. You need to be a community member. You need to be someone that's respected in the community, someone that's willing to give your time. It usually takes, we meet every 2 weeks on Thursdays. Of course, this can be arranged depending on the constellation we have on the board. This is a picture of the board for this year. We do our meetings on Zoom. It's really fun. It's hard to say goodbye to the foundation board. It's like one of my favorite times in the week because it's a bunch of friendly faces. We're talking about something we all like and devote our free time to discuss. But some of us are stepping down this year. We need nominations. So how this is going to work? Everyone that's a foundation member and is active foundation member, tomorrow at 7 p.m. local time or 5 p.m. UTC can vote, okay? So if you're a foundation member, you're not sure if you're active or not. For instance, is Gil here? Gil Forcada? Yes. Sir, you let your foundation member expire. I expect you to fix that like by lunchtime. And I know other people that did not renew their foundation membership. That's important. For the past few years, we did not vote on many things, but this is important because these are the people that are going to be here on stage next year. These are the people that are going to represent us for the next few years. So the election is going to take place from tomorrow around 8 p.m. until Friday around 2 p.m. local time. It's going to be using an online platform, so you're going to receive an email. You simply need to go there, vote on your candidates, press a button, and that's it. We are going to announce the new board during the foundation, the membership annual meeting of the Plone Foundation here on this stage on Friday. I would love to see new faces there. Again, if you can help, would be awesome. We would love to have faces from different places. We would love to have people there that do not speak English as their main language. Do not be afraid. We, at one time, we had Matthew Wilkes there, and everything was fine. He, as you all know, he's not able to speak English. He was good in German, though. His German was the only thing we could understand. But you join the board, you help shape the future of Plone. The election this year is going to be a little bit different. We are going to elect 3 foundation board members for a two-year term and 4 for a 1-year term, because we broke the board in 2 cohorts. And from next year on, everyone that comes to the board serves for 2 years. That helps continuity. That helps us to make a transition from old members to new members. It's usually one of the things that for some of us to stay so long is basically, yeah, we need someone in here to help new people coming in. We are trying to address that. And we would love to have new faces there. We would love to have people that are willing to devote their time to make this a reality. Because in the end, the foundation helps the community. The community builds the awesome project, the awesome product we have. And to talk about the product, I'm going to invite my good friend, Timo, to stage.
Plone 6 has been released in December 2022, by the end of last year. It was a reaction to a fundamental change in web technology that started more than 10 years ago. Google released Angular 1 in 2010 and Facebook React in 2013. So web technology as a whole moved towards JavaScript. And the Plone community started to work on what became Volto and Plone 6 in April 2017. And with Plone 6, we, the Plone community, managed a major transition to the new front-end technologies without breaking the community or the product apart. If you look at other open source content management systems, we accomplished something that is pretty unique in the CMS market. If you look at Drupal, Typo3, Joomla, our regular competitors, they did not manage the transition yet. Lots of them are stuck with outdated front-end libraries and an outdated stack. And some communities tried to transition, actually. Like the Typo3 community, for instance. They started Neos in 2009. They rewrote the entire CMS, both the backend and the frontend, the backend in Flow, which is a PHP framework, and the frontend in React, like we did. And in 2015, they actually gave up and decided to split the product apart and keep Typo3 and Neos and continue to develop them separately. So in the German market, and I think worldwide as well, they became competitors instead of working together. And we work together in the Plone community. There are other CMSs, though, that managed the transition successfully, like we did, like WordPress, for instance. While WordPress is technically an open source product, the reality is that we all know it's a company and a commercial product behind it. On top of this, both WordPress and Neos are more page builders than CMSs. They focus on features and try to maximize the options for editors. But this has a downside. This requires editors to have a deep knowledge and understanding of how web technology works, like HTML and CSS, how design works, how blocks or components behave in a responsive manner. They need an understanding of UX and accessibility to make sure that the website is compliant with that. So the core idea of a CMS was to get rid of the bottleneck of the system administrators back in the days, right, long, long time ago. Those modern systems do not require sysadmins any longer. but they often require agencies to do really trivial tasks. And it's really hard for editors to work with those systems that offer that many options and allow you to make mistakes, and lots of them. So the Plone community chose a different path. User-friendliness and a focus on the editor has always been an essential part of Plone since the beginning, thanks to Alexander Limy, one of the founders of Plone. And all this makes Plone very unique in the CMS market. It's a true open source content management system managed by the community, as Errico laid out. It successfully managed the transition to the modern web, as we show with Plone 6 and what I will show from now on, without breaking the community or the product apart, like what happens to Typo 3 and Neos. It offers a user-friendly editing environment that does not require you to know any details about HTML, CSS, or become an expert on so many things that are hard and are a requirement when you build a website today. So we're done, right? Not quite. Plone 6.1 will be an evolution of what we started with Plone 6. We understand that moving to Volto from classic UI, and before that, moving from Python 2 to Python 3, was a major undertaking for all our users and integrators. So Plone 6.1 will focus on a stable backend with minimal or no changes for the editors or integrators. Moritz will talk about this in a bit. And innovations will continue to happen on the front end. Victor will talk about this in a minute. So Plone 6, as you might remember, was all about blocks, right? So we shipped Plone 6.1 with 2 new blocks, with a teaser and a grid block. So this is a Plone page. You go to the edit view, and you see a teaser block on the top. So we want to add a new teaser. We use the blocks chooser, and on the right side, you can choose a target, because a teaser teases an element that's already existing, right? So you choose it from the right toolbar. You can click on it, and it will automatically fill the title, the description, the head title, and the image. And you can choose the alignment left, right, center. And of course, you can drag and drop it, move it up and down. The second block that we added was the grid block that allows you to have columns. You can choose between 1 and 4 columns out of the box. Integrators are free to allow 6 or 10 or whatever. And you can freely choose the objects within those columns. So you can use a teaser, but you can also use images, listings, teasers, or tags. So on the right side, we choose to use a listing block. You might know that from collections, which is pretty powerful. So you can choose basically what kind of content you want to show. So you choose the location here that you want to basically show the contents from one folder. You can limit the results. So if you only want to show 5 to make that fit with the image, for instance, on the left side, you can sort on this. And you can have multiple listing blocks on the same page, of course, and add them to arbitrary columns if you want. So this has been an add-on for Plone 6 since the beginning. And it shows the power of the open source community and what we can accomplish in the Plone community that other CMSs are obviously not able to accomplish. We had 3 different implementations when Plone 6 came out. EA had an implementation, Red Turtle had an implementation, and Kit Concept had an implementation. And all 3 implementations were fine, right? They were covering specific use cases. But we did not compete with each other. We just solved the problem that we had. But with Plone 6.1, we came together and discussed. We used the flip process and everything, and we discussed what would be the best outcome and how could we combine the advantages of each block that we developed. And it made it into 6.1, right? So we worked together towards a common goal. Another core feature of Plone 6.1, and this has been requested a lot, is allowing anchor links in Plone, in the new Plone frontend. So if you want to link to headlines or blogs instead of just pages, Tiberi, Ellen, and Nilesh from AutoWeb worked on this. And Plone 6.1 will create anchor links automatically. So say you want to link to this Hello PloneConf thing, you see that little anchor icon, you can click on it, it will show you that you copied the link to the clipboard. And then you can go to any other page, basically, and use the link in the clipboard with the existing link widget. So you just create a link, you paste it, And you can see that Plone is smart enough to recognize that this is an internal link, right? So it will use an internal link, but it will preserve the anchor. So if you click on it, you will end up on the page where the anchor was created. Another feature that Plone had since ages is link integrity, right? This is important because if you create an internal link, you want to get notified if you delete an object that has an inbound link to it, so you don't create broken links, which is a big thing when you create a website, right? So Plone warns the editor when they're about to delete a content object. Though we got feedback from editors that they were kind of reluctant to click the delete button, right? Because it doesn't feel right. So you click delete, maybe you just want to check out if there are links before you actually delete the object, right? And what if there are no links and you delete the object, right? Maybe you don't want that. So we got the feedback from editors that they're reluctant to click that link beforehand, and they would like to see the links that point to this current object. So Paul and Dante worked on this feature, and they introduced a view that shows editor the content objects in the current object. So you go to the left sidebar, you click on the three dots, and then you choose here the links and references, and you will see the view on the right side, which lists you all the inbound references that you have. So you might have links in your text, you have teasers, grid blocks that integrates well with the teaser and grid blocks that I just showed you, or you have traditional references like related items, or you have a custom content type with a relation attribute, right? So those will be all listed here. And of course, still, if you delete an object, Plone will still warn you, of course, but this is an additional feature that I think is quite nice. Related to that is the relations control panel that that allows site administrators to see and filter all the relations that are present in a Plone site in general, not only for the current object, what I showed you before, but in general. So you see this matrix of all the relations that you have and the type of relations, and you can manage them as a site administrator. Another feature that will be in Plone 6.1 is an image rendering improvement. Delivering images for modern website is a huge challenge these days. You can fill bookshelves with different approaches and optimizations that you can do when delivering images, because modern websites have lots of them, right? And we always had image scaling in Plone that allows you to upload an image and you get different scales, right? So Piero from Red Turtle worked on this feature that allows the browser to choose the right image. So Plone 6.1 will use source sets to offer the browser different versions of the same image. So it uses Plone scaling, and it offers the browser different sizes, and the browser will automatically choose the right image size based on the device that you're using, right? So if you're using an Android mobile phone, the browser will know how wide the display is and will choose the image accordingly. And this also works with teaser and grid blocks. So if you put that into multiple columns, the browser will also only load the image that is necessary. We put all this in a reusable image component that works, as said, works well with the new blocks. And Piero will give a talk about this, I think tomorrow or day after tomorrow. And another thing that we recognize that we need is when you are working with blocks, and Plone 6 was all about blocks, as I told you, there's one important question. Where are my blocks and how many do I have? For instance, if you want to upgrade to a new block, you might want to know like how often is a certain block used, right? Can we maybe migrate that manually, or do we have to write a migration, right? So Margarita, who's a first-time contributor, contributed this feature to core at the Beethoven sprint. Are you here, Margarita? So Eric, Eric told the story about my first contribution, and Margarita came to the first Plone sprint ever and signed a contributor agreement and contributed something that made it into core like almost right away, right? Which is a pretty amazing accomplishment, actually. So we're looking forward where you go, Margarita. Maybe you will give that keynote in a few years. Who knows? So that indexer went into Plone.volto and was released with Plone.1 or Volto 17. And at a later point, we might want to add a control panel where you can see it, but for now, it's just important that we have the index there, right, that you can find it. So to sum up things, Plone 6.1 will come out by the end of the year or early 2024. It will include the teaser and grid block that I showed you, the link integrity view, anchor links, the relations control panel, and certain image optimizations. We added more than 80 features, more than 300 bug fixes and internal changes. We had more than 30 alpha releases, and Volto 17, which will be the base of 6.1, or Volto 18, we'll decide that. It's used in production already. So with Plone 6.1, you will get a production-ready system right from the first version. So after 6.1 will be released, I will show you what else we have in the pipeline. So Plone 6.2 will add a feature that will allow you to restore unsafe pages. Tiberio and Alex from AutoWeb worked on this neat feature that if you close the browser by accident or the OS or the browser crashes, Plone will show you the option to restore an unsaved page. So say you have this page here, and you work on new blocks that takes you quite a while. You work for an hour on this, and then your browser crashes, right? And it's gone. So then you reload your page, and you will see here this nice message that asks you, hey, your system crashed. Do you want to restore it? And your super important change is back. We'll also plan to work on folder contents, which is the Swiss Army knife of Plone editors. It always has been, right? It's pretty powerful. You see the content structure. You can sort content. You can issue lots of bulk actions. You can filter your content. You can upload images and files. But it also showed a few limitations. So we plan to replace the technical stack with 10 stack, where you can easily choose columns in a more user-friendly way. You can sort columns in a better way, and overall improve user-friendliness. We will also, another killer feature of Plone 6 that we had was listing and search blocks. I showed you the front page and the ability to combine listing blocks. The search block is, if you know EEA faceted navigation as an add-on product, it's basically like as a block, and you can freely add it to a column if you want. So it's a feature that editors love, and they love the flexibility. So you can have multiple faceted search blocks on the same page, which is awesome. So during Beethoven Sprint, we sat together with our UX expert, Albert and Irene, and discussed the UX of being able to adding more listing block variants, and also to simplify the current options that we have. And we came up with new options that allow you to display the listing block contents as a grid. So I showed you the grid before. So you will basically have the same options to choose between 1 and 4 grids, choose if you want to show an image or not. And then you can make this to be a listing block. And it doesn't matter really if you want to automatically create content, like from a filter criteria, or if you want to manually combine them in a grid block. From the outside, it will look pretty much the same. So this is an important feature that we'll add in Plone 6.2. Another thing that we figured out, because we always listen carefully to our editors, and we regularly discuss UI and the user interface that we have with UX experts within and outside the Plone community. And one of the things that we discussed was the link widget. The link widget is pretty powerful. I showed you that in with the anchor link feature. But it's limited when you think about adding more features like the link integrity or anchor links. You might want to have more power features there. And Victor created a set of prototypes for that you can see here, a prototype that you can search right away. And it will also show you different options depending on what we will add. So we're currently evaluating that, but we already have a prototype, and we're pretty certain that it will make it into Plone 6.2. So to sum it up, Plone 6.2 will allow you to restore unsafe pages. We might even want to add that to 6.2. That's not decided yet. When it's ready, it will be ready, but it will be there in 6.1 or 6.2. We'll have to see the folder content improvement, listing block variants, and the link widget overhaul, and lots of more features that we're discussing. But the time is limited that we have here, so I will hand over to Moritz, who will show you what we plan to do with the backend in the 6.x release, and after that, Victor will show you what we plan to do on the front end.
Yeah, thank you, Timo. Oh, space, yeah. So if you want to understand what's going on the back end and the classic UI, you have to understand which direction we're going in. And that's basically a headless CMS. Because if you use the default front end, with the code name Volto, think, okay, you have a front end and you have a back end. But within the back end, you automatically get the classic UI as well. Because back end and classic UI, that's all one big thing of all kinds of packages. And we're moving towards separating that more in the direction of during Plone 6 dot something and Plone 7. And that's the direction we're moving in. So then you get more like the second picture, where that's more the end goal. Then you have Volto, which talks to Plone REST API. That's a wrapper around the backend. And the classic UI also talks with the backend. So classic UI in that part, it will still be part of the backend. If you can install that, you have basically the same thing that you have today. If you have classic UI for Plone 6 or 7, that won't be too much of a difference. But you don't need all the classic UI code if you rely on the new Volto front end. And we have basically two lines of attack to get in that direction. One is to move all kinds of templates to a separate package, and the other one is to create more core add-ons. So the first one, if we focus on the pure backend part, including classic UI, then you get you have all kinds of templates, so everything containing the HTML, which is spread around all kinds of different packages. There are about at least 100 core Plone packages, and SOAP on top, including that even more, and other dependencies. So all kinds of HTML is everywhere, and Volto does not need this part. It's got its own HTML. So the direction would be that we try to gather all those templates into one package or just a few packages, and then you get more the picture on your right, where the templates get more concentrated in one place, and that will make it then possible to say, okay, we'll take all those templates and the code that belongs to it, take that out of the backend and put that on top of it. So that's the result is that Volto only needs the pure backend part, and the classic UI is really then Volto and classic UI are then more on the same level, really, that you can really choose, I only want Volto or I only want classic UI. So that's one thing to add there. It's we call it classic UI. It also means we will also in Plone 7 it will still be done in a classic way, where the backend is responsible for generating the HTML and serving the CSS and JavaScript. Where Volto you have really a separate front end that governs that part of the UI. So the second part is to get more core add-ons. So the really core part of Plone, that's really the products.cmf Plone Python package, which includes stuff for multilingual, for discussions, content rules, all kinds of things. And on top of that, and that's already the case for years, you've got the base Plone package, which has the exact same plus a few extra packages. Okay, you probably need some caching in there, but it's optional because not everyone will need it. The REST API, everyone who is using Volto is using that, but if you use Classic UI, it's not needed. So there are some optional packages, and we're moving towards making more packages optional in Plone 6 and further. For example, I'm from Belgium. We speak Dutch and French in there, or at least, well, I don't speak French, but you need lots of multilingual sites in there, but not everyone needs that. So we're moving Plone multilingual out of the core. May need to come up with a better term for that. Moving that more on top of CMF Plone, so it gets optional, but still supported if you want it, and we do want it. And you can see there if you really say, okay, install Plone, you still get all the same packages that you used to get, but you get more options to pick and choose. And the templates that you would move around, that's more in Classic UI. And once you get to Plone 7, then the Classic UI part can also be moved on top of CMF Plone. So then you get more options to choose. As an integrator, you can have more options to choose which parts do you include. What helps there is Plone distribution that Erco has been working on. And as integrator, you can choose, okay, which packages do I really include on top of the CMF Plone package with all your favorite add-ons that you want, and include demo content and create users, a bit like demo.plone.org currently works. So that can look something like this. You have two distributions. Hey, you can choose a classic, the default distribution, or the classic distribution, and as integrator, you can add more options here or leave these out altogether to keep things simple, also for co-workers maybe. And one small thing that, I have a white t-shirt, I like that. Other people prefer black t-shirts, so probably in 6.1 we'll get a dark mode for the classic UI backend. We're working on that based on Bootstrap 5.3. It should not be that hard. So a lot of people seem to like dark mode. So now we'll go to Victor, who will talk about what Plone as a headless CMS looks like from the front end.
Yeah, thanks a lot. After a look into the present and to the near future, I'd like to give you a glimpse of what's coming in a quick fashion, because it's only 5 minutes, and also in a way of one last more thing, which I'm very glad to have this moment. So the thing is that we want to reinforce the vision of Plone as being a headless CMS, right? So we have all these nice things that we know from Plone, we love from Plone, but there is this side of Plone that led in the beginning to the decouple of the UI, and this is what we are living today with combination of Volto and Plone, the backend as a headless CMS. And the main idea was that, we have this separation of concerns, but this led to a broadened vision, right, that we want to reinforce. We had already some examples in the community of headless CMS, not only Plone, the backend, but also Guillotina CMS. Nick is also good examples of headless CMS within the Plone community. You know, headless CMS, that's a thing that only has the API as a main thread. Then it's not tied to any UI, doesn't bring any UI. You bring your own UI, and that's the whole idea of the thing. That allows you to access the resources that you store, and also edit the content objects that you store. And normally, headless CMSs nowadays comes in a SaaS flavor, right? So they provide the means to build the model, also edit, store, access, and manage it. So the question is, will Plone qualify as a modern headless CMS? And really, I think so, because Plone CMS feature list is unmatched. The REST API is outstanding. The content types, we do create 18 content types to the web, and modern headless CMS sell that as the next big thing. And come on, we're doing that since 2010, or I don't know, since when, right? So we can do that as well. And also the amazing security model and all the permissions that made Plone, right? So at the end, the results are more than 2 decades of experience that we can put and add to the story, to the whole Plone vision, right? So summarizing, what we have Plone CMS today, we have the backend Plone as our headless CMS that has also these 2 verticals, classic UI, Volto. And then it comes when you're selling projects, you have to do a choice. So you do the choice of using classic UI or using Volto. But what we want to do with this reinforcement as a headless UI is that we broaden that offer that we can, so we can later sell more projects or types of projects, not only these. So we come up with a new breed of tools, right? And the community has already identified which one does that tools, and we are already working on them. For example, we want to extract the data fetching from Volto to its own package. This was a GSOC that, now I forgot the name. No. Hemant Chaudhary is working on it. Sorry, just lapsus. It is released, it's in the alpha stage. It's based in TAN-stack query, but it is also can be used outside this integration package. This is very nice. It is agnostic because TAN-stack query allows you not to use it in React, but also in other frameworks and platforms. And it's TypeScript, so we have type permission through the package, right? Then there's other important feature of Volto, which is the registers and the add-on architecture, and we are also extracting that to its own package, so we can use it elsewhere outside Volto. It's going to be called Plone Registry. There is a POC already in there. You can check it out. Works already in Next.js, and that could allow it at some moment to have hybrid multi-framework add-ons. So not only add-ons for Volto, but also for Next.js or for Remix or for whatever framework of your user. It's also TypeScript, and it will be soon be developed already. Then there is the Plone components. It's the POC, there's a POC, but it's in early stages. We want also to extract the basic components that makes that are needed to have or to build a CMS on, at least the public part. And we want those components to be wide-level components, so that means that it doesn't they won't use any framework, say CSS framework by default. So we are not being tied to anything, not to semantic UI, not to Bootstrap. So you will bring your own types, and it will be also TypeScript. Then finally, we will have Plone Quanta, also POC early stages. It will be modular. We will get what you need. And it will be the theming side based on the styles in the Quanta design system. It will be synced with Plone components, and it will use SCSS by default. So we will have, the idea is that we will have this landscape, so what we have now in 2023, and in addition, we'll broaden the offer, and we will have these 4 new PCs that we could combine to build new things outside what we know now, and we will go further and have more other projects of other reach, bigger, smaller, using other platforms easily, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel when doing that, and you will have that option if your project requires it. So yeah, quickly, Plone strategic roadmap will be like this. The Plone client is alpha stages, so you already can try it out. There's documentation already, basic, but yeah, we should, contributions are welcome. The Plone registry is also POC, as well as Plone components. They will happen as well with Plone Quanta during next year. Okay, and finally, Plone 7. So the idea is that with all these new pieces, at some point, we will be able to build and mount the thing again and provide Plone 7 with all these features when it's ready. Yeah, so.
We have -5 minutes, right? So just to get this out of the way, we need to announce some future Plone events quickly. First thing is Plone Symposium South America. Lucas is there. He's going to host that on 22nd of November. And then World Plone Day. We have a date, it's 17th of April, right, Riku-Pekka? I saw the email, right? If it's wrong, now that's the date. And of course, the one everyone is waiting for. Thank you all for coming. I expect you to follow us everywhere and have a nice conference.